No.
Honestly, this is the type of stupid that got me to quit personal training in the commercial setting because I refuse to waste other people's time as well as my time.
And this wedge is to do traditional compound lifting with variations of accessories
Don't know what you're doing.
ways of training, and that's where context comes in. But you know, I do agree with Alec when he says the touch and go deadlifts are problematic. I absolutely agree with Alec. But again, Jeff can deadlift, and with Alec, he's truly trying to give you a fair representation of Anthony X and Jeff Cavalier. Maybe he would show you the multiple videos where Jeff brings in people to show lifts. For example, he brings in Casey Mitchell, who I think we can all agree is a very high-level deadlifter and a very admirable and motivational
Keep
guy.
dribbling if you will.
And he breaks down the deadlift. And Casey Mitchell is with Jeff, and they go through so many aspects of
Keep dribbling.
compound lifting. Now, again, why is Alec not showing that? Because what he's trying to do is project this
Why do you keep
idea that
dribbling?
Jeff is just using these small gimmicky lunge-type movements, combined movements, no real hard, compound iron movements. No, he absolutely does in so many videos in his training plans. Your argument was just lazy, Alec.
Slough Borough Council has declared bankruptcy after revealing £100 million deficit. I never did trust a financial manager. And so as I'm going through Simeon's online program marketing, my eye starts twitching as I've realised that I've seen this exact format somewhere before. And so just to know, I will be using robot voices for Simeon because he plays funky music in his video, no other reason.
You already took the first step of your new fitness journey by taking the macro quiz and finding out what program is best for your body type.
Click the link down in the description below this video to take my body type quiz right now.
The body type quiz, the generic pre-recorded sales video packed with the same fitness sales keywords, where HIIT and EPOT is wrongfully communicated in both cases.
And your body burns calories the entire time it takes to do this, which
Right.
can take up to 48
Teddy.
hours.
The hybrid cardio system is designed to not only burn a maximum amount of calories during your workout, but it will rev up your metabolism 24 to 48 hours post-workout.
If you cheat on a test and the person you've cheated from also has a wrong answer, even the structure of the web page below is eerily similar, and then followed by the selling of rubbish supplements. Of all the people you could have modelled your cookie cutter sales online fitness marketing programming on,
Listen to
you chose this
Teddy.
guy. Who's worse, Vince, who's currently natural,
carry
who has
on,
no
Lee.
idea what he's talking about, or Simeon, who
Look
does
at
understand
smell.
fitness, who isn't an idiot, but is choosing to sell fitness in this
I'm
way.
already
And
sweaty.
he's natural, because Simon says.
know why he's
Now,
licking
this
my
picture
shoulder
I've saved
for
in my folder with his name.
Probably
To
the
be
salt
clear,
in
I
him.
meant orange juice
Oils
or
we've got on our
pineapple
body, haven't we?
juice that he drinks pre-workout.
Give me a
Probably
wash.
in massive pot blend. Oops, did his supplement reveal too early. We'll get to his pre-workout later.
Cheers,
And so
mate.
Simeon is a lad,
Thanks for that,
probably
Ted.
a nice guy to be around, and I understand that people love him. But he has about as much transparency
No,
as
you
my
know.
car windscreen after a
What are you
flock
doing?
of pigeons have just emptied their breakfast on it. And so to be clear, I don't think that Simeon copied
Cheers,
Vince.
buddy.
I just think this is the go-to
I like one of the pack
template
now,
that
Teddy.
these fitness influencers use.
I guess I'm one of the
Sell
pack,
their
right?
online courses.
He's giving
It's
me a
just
wash.
embarrassing. But then again, when you sell this as your supplement stack to people,
Teddy.
maybe not. I will teach you the exact routines that I follow year round to build muscle while burning fat
Really?
and staying lean year round. With attached picture, when you see me when
You
I'm
are
in the
funny.
program is discounted from a
Don't
made
lick my trousers, though.
$280 to
Don't lick my
$66,
trousers.
so it must be a bargain and it will get you results fast. The fitness industry's favourite keyword to try and sell you stuff. Have you never heard the tale of the tortoise and the hare? And I love how Simeon and Vince in both of their videos both throw the words fast and faster at you over and over and over again,
Your tongue.
whilst also saying that their programs are sustainable. But pipe down Simeon
No.
because Vince is faster. And so in case you don't know, these types of words are very carefully used as a marketing tactic, very similar to the get-rich-quick schemes where they'll use these words about fast results and guaranteed
got an
results.
obsession with
in
licking
other
my
words.
With this program, I am literally guaranteeing you results.
How can you guarantee results to people?
I can
Because I'm one of the pack, right?
Sound
Give
cool
me
to
a
you?
wash. Finish now?
This ebook will
Okay,
help you get
finished?
in the best shape of your life. I thoroughly explain
No?
the diet and training protocols that keep
Okay.
you at 8% body fat at all times.
I'm like, you finished,
I
Ted?
challenge you to
No,
follow
I'm not
this program
finished.
to a T.
If you simply follow this program to 18, you will achieve
Thanks, Ted.
jaw-dropping results guaranteed.
I appreciate that.
Three? No, four.
I appreciate
No,
the
which one
feedback.
is the one that these fitness influencers use to shred fat? Hold on, I can do better. Sorry. 8% body fat.
To 18.
Renbolone? Testosterone? No.
Nope.
Am I warm? Let's play that
Trousers.
game. Warm, warmer, testosterone cyclinate, burning hot methinks, and to make a jaw-dropping
Aye.
focus transformation faster than you
How's it
previously
gonna do?
imagined was possible.
Faster than fast now.
I'm basically 99%
I'm going to
sure
have a
that
bong.
Simon's plan is the right one for me. Let's get into it. And when it comes to these online fitness programs, sales, marketing tactics, I call them profit margin fitness.
What's everyone up
Which
to?
involves 4 steps.
Step 1, generic vague quiz, which comes nowhere near to even a basic analysis that a personal trainer would
Picked the
give
scab
you
yesterday
upon
and it
listening.
fucking left a
You
hole
already
in
took
my
the first
arm.
step of your new fitness journey by
It's like a
taking the
fucking-
macro quiz and finding out what program is best for your body type.
Click the link down in the description
that?
below this video
What's
to take
that?
my body type quiz
What's
right
that?
now.
Now it's time to take action and utilize the programs below.
Can't even see it, you're
And you know
blind.
what? Your level, your body
Trying to
type
point it out to
control is one of the
There.
easiest to see
Teddy.
fast results.
What a load of rubbish.
What's
they are.
this?
I think that's the 7th Power Ranger or
Look.
something. And so like the rest of their marketing for their online programs,
You blind.
again, this quiz is just a generic cookie cutter,
Right there.
nowhere near the more in-depth, nuanced analysis
Yeah, he's
that
blind.
a
Can't even see
personal
it.
trainer would give you. Pathetic excuse for an underlying scientific principle from which to base their selling of their program. Okay, let's get to
Yeah.
Simeon and Vince's body type
Yeah, he's
quizzes.
not even paying
Question 1,
attention.
both gender. Okay, question 2, age group. Okay, common question, maybe, but the exact order being the same is a bit curious. Question 3, both height, snap, I win. Question 4, Vince weight, Simeon weight. This is getting eerily similar now. Next, both how active are you? Okay. Next question, Vince, what best describes your body composition? Simeon current diet. Okay, here we go.
See, he's
There are
harmless. You go right up to him.
different
Most dogs won't really like that.
in-depth
Depends.
scientific questions now to understand your needs. And then Simeon body composition. So in essence,
Thanks
they're
for licking me
identical
eye-
body
eyeball.
type quizzes they're both using, but Simeon adds a generic, vague diet question as well. This is what, to be clear, I call a cookie cutter approach. And all they're doing is basically determining whether your goal is fat loss or muscle gain, and then you'll go to one of those videos.
Step 2.
And so following the body type quiz, it takes you to the generic pre-recorded video. It's the personal touch that counts. Click here to play or click here to play.
How's
The
everyone doing?
magazine covers of his natty physique sprayed beneath it. Basically, this is like Tesco. But the stuff they want to sell, they put on certain aisles so that your eyes are attracted to it. These magazine covers are basically Pringles.
And just get shredded up so that you can really just start to look amazing at the pool or on vacation just with your shirt off in general. And that's an exciting goal. And believe it or not, it's super attainable.
Hey, it's Simeon Panda and I'm here to help you rapidly achieve your fitness goals and walk around lean and ripped year-round. I know this must seem unattainable to some of you and even impossible.
The setup, getting ripped, shredded all year round. These guys will make it attainable for you with their methods. And following the setup, they both have the bit about,
Neither of these dieting strategies are crash diets.
I call these programs crash diets.
even though they absolutely emphasize faster results all the
Hi.
way through their marketing.
And after helping more than 30,000, I found techniques that keep me shredded year-round while still gaining muscle and strength.
I'm going to show you my secret weapon for dieting to shred fat while
The next level fat burning program.
Fat Burn Extreme alone will get you the results you are looking for, but when combined with the hybrid cardio system, the fat will literally melt off your body.
Well, let me explain your new secret weapon for torching body fat.
Simeon will melt your body fat. Vince will torch your body fat. I'm so excited at this point. I'm just smashing
I'll
my
teach you,
credit card
innit?
numbers into the website. I don't even know if they're the right numbers, but they're being entered.
It's a special type of cardio
Thanks.
called HIIT. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. This is another industry secret or
Cheers for that,
if
buddy.
you will, that fitness models and bodybuilders
Can't
all
eat
over
this.
use to drop their body fat percentages incredibly fast. And
When you perform this system
How's
correctly,
everyone
you will
doing?
essentially turn your body into a fat-burning machine around the clock.
keep it off year round without wasting hours and hours in the
Good morning.
Most trainers will tell
Oh,
you to
what
spend
are
60
you
to
doing?
90 minutes, several times a week grinding out on boring cardio sessions.
The cool thing about your body using these oxygen
See my dog
stores is
just
that it
licking
then
me.
has to replenish those oxygen stores, and your body burns calories the entire time it takes to do
Cheers
this,
for that.
which can take up to 48 hours.
But it will rev up your metabolism
You're not
24
finished
to
yet, or what's
48
that?
hours post-workout.
Therefore, for a simple 15-minute HIIT session, you can literally burn
Carry
calories
on,
up
then.
to 2 days through a process
Good
called
boy.
the afterburn effect.
The hybrid cardio system that I designed will
Good
cut
boy.
your cardio time in half while doubling the fat burning process that lasts for hours and hours after each workout.
I spat out my Simeon Panda sponsored natural BCAA when I saw
Well,
it.
he's looking at me.
And their unique branded fat loss method is HIIT. Fine, HIIT is a highly effective way of burning fat. I just made a science-based video where I go through HIIT and I explain various health markers such as insulin and glucose metabolism and blood pressure and VO2 max based on a current piece of meta-analysis. And indeed we have 2 recent meta-analyses which conclude that there is no significant difference per se on body composition between using HIIT and a lower intensity continuous style of training.
Thanks.
And furthermore, in my previous video I do cite a meta-analysis which states that actually combining HIIT and steady state cardio in your program can be highly beneficial. And so this tribal approach to HIIT is amazing, and the afterburn and the steady state cardio is boring and long, for example. It's just completely a nonsensical representation of these concepts. And so HIIT is a great method to burn a large amount of calories in a short amount of time, but it's not done for some kind of superior afterburn effect. They both use the same incorrect, nonsensical pumping up of the afterburn epoch as a way to sell their programs, when indeed we know that yes, there is epoch after HIIT, but it is a relatively small amount of calories. I do have an in-depth video on that, I'll link it below, but very quickly, here's an example of the amount of calories burnt in your session that you would burn post-workout. Now, whilst there is an epoch here, whilst in this range you are going to burn some calories, it's a relatively small amount. I wouldn't say it's a highly significant amount to be basing your fitness program on. Behave Yourself, Simeon, especially when you are selling
guys and
an
girls.
online program to people and just giving this plainly flawed information. So step 3, the marketing jargon. And so then the marketing continues from both of them into the webpage below, which again are just so eerily similar in structure. And then they have the free things included in your programs.
There's no other program out there that provides you with an 8-week workout routine, an exact meal plan to follow, plus 7 additional ebooks.
There is, it's called V-Shred. He also gives you loads of free ebooks you're not going to read. But hold on, Vince just raised you with 12 weeks.
Vince gives a bigger numbers pulled out of the air made up discount than Simeon.
Will you fold Simeon? Apparently not. And then to step 4, the supplements. Tyrion carpet cream. I drink and I know things. And so when you look at the pre-workout he's throwing in your face in his Instagram posts, they make the label so hard to read. You put the mouse over the picture of the label, and they still show you a zoomed out label. Probably just for instance, with my eyesight, let's just say that didn't help. And so basically, his pre-workout was just really funny. So some companies underdose the vitamin stack. Simeon's pre-workout has massively overdosed it for no reason at all. 2,083% vitamin B12. I had to literally stop laughing to record this. Did the Hulk formulate this or something? The overdose, or what I call the distraction from the 3 proprietary blends below. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you think this is one of those, look over there, and then you run away moments? This has to win the award for the most prop lens in a pre-workout. Not too fair to them, they did all 3 matrices, the trilogy. And so I'm going to give an example, not this company obviously, but some companies, they will show the amount of the cheap ingredients on their label. For example, very commonly vitamin B12 and caffeine, for example. But what they won't do is show the amount of the more expensive ingredients in the pre-workout. And one reason that companies may do this, because that allows them to put less of the more cost down and increase their profit margins and allow them to sell it at a price which appeals to people. But again, I'm not saying that this specific product is doing this. It's up to the viewer to apply that and decide whether they are or not. Let's go with that. And so I've just been through loads of these ingredients in depth in a previous video, and I've cited research, for example. So I'm not going to do that again. But just beware, if you're going to see a pre-workout just stacked with prop blend after prop blend after prop blend and some kind of overdosed vitamin stack, where to be clear, if you're getting over a certain level, you're hitting a point of diminishing returns. There's no further significant benefits of
Just chilling, just having a smoke,
anyway,
chilling
back
with
to
dog.
the point. I just think it's complete trash. Your supplements are not impressive at all, Simeon. Neither's telling your audience you're natural, neither's using a very similar, let's say, structure for selling your programs to Vince from vshred.com. I'm James Nicker, roll the credits.
I'm excited to be your trainer. You're going to make a phenomenal transformation. What are you waiting for?
You've probably tried all kinds of cookie cutter workouts.
A wobble in the moon and climate change could result in record flooding, and NASA study has predicted. Oh dear moon, can you stop having a wobble and pull yourself together?
Everyone's
Thank you.
doing
Nothing
good
beats an
as
empty
well.
gym. What gym do you guys go to? I don't think that question was the pure intent of your post. However, I'm going to answer. I go to the gym where people stand in the corner and spend a cringe-worthy amount of time taking selfies to find the right one for Instagram. When the gym is empty and they could be training, and then post it to Instagram with some kind of mundane question to try and pretend that this is in any way some type of credible health and fitness post.
Hey guys and
For
girls.
that, the teacher at school said, in life, put your best foot forward. I don't think he meant literally. Instagram fitness, creating postural imbalances,
That was
since
alright.
smartphones and fame and stuff. Who wants
So
to
we're
get
on
credit
to-
for the summer? That,
Hang on.
to be a Bang Energy athlete, is something to be proud of. And so the landing page of his program is Brad dressed as a straight-to-view superhero. I mean, to be fair, yes, he is accurate because they're all on gear. Not how he meant it. It's like me and Matt's class at school. I got the right answer by accident. Okay, and then you give your email address to get the free ebook, and so they can send you loads of those annoying emails in the Marcus Jones, except the magic hair pill ones. Those have worked out pretty well. Weekly calls with Brad and his team. So who are his teams? The whole marketing at this point suggests that you're going to be working one-on-one with Brad, and then he drops the fact that he's got a team. And so if he has got a team, fine, you can do that, but you have to list who they are and what their rounds are. But to be fair, everyone does want to be Homelander, so let's go for it. Just to the best bit of the video.
What's up, guys? Brad Castaway here. I have a question for you. Are you ready to get fitter than ever without having to give up the food you love? I mean, who doesn't like that, right?
Nothing screams health and fitness than the dude on the naughty sauce pounding 5 hamburgers. Sorry, 6 hamburgers. Where do I apply? As if that is the image you chose to start the sales video for your online course. Who's right?
I'm also going to show you how to transform.
Surprise you. All we know is that someone needs to give the health department a call and tell them that an update to their suggestions is the health department. We realize that the question, how much time should I spend working out, can mean different things to different people. We're going to tell you about the time needed for general benefits later in this video. So right now, we're going to answer this from the perspective of optimizing your time in the gym when following a typical resistance training program. To give an accurate answer, we need to frame the question a little differently. Time doesn't really mean anything without more information. For example, is this a traditional session with rests in between sets, or is it a 30-minute non-stop circuit? When someone asks, how much time should I spend working out, they're actually asking, how much work should I do? So that's what we'll do right now. And if you want to live longer, be sure you stick around and we'll lay that out for you as well. Let's get into it. Let's first ask the question, why does it matter how long we work out? Well, there's a few good reasons. The first is so you know if you're working out enough. Of course, any amount of training is a good thing and is exponentially better than nothing. However, there is a minimum amount that you should train to get optimal results. Since you've already made the decision to train, we think you should train enough to get maximal results. Or you should at least know how much you should train so you can make an informed decision. Now, the other reason, and perhaps the most problematic, is so you don't train too much. We live in a society that loves to go extreme. Maybe it's the glamorization of being hardcore on social media, but people tend to want to work out excessively. You know, the whole what's a rest day trope and all. People tend to think, I train 7 days a week sounds cooler than I train 4 days a week. While not working out enough basically means you won't see as much progress as you could. Working out too much can have more serious repercussions. The buildup of fatigue is a major issue that will affect you if you train too much. Notice how we said will. It will happen. Not only can this cause a detriment to your training, it can actually cause injury. Neither option is ideal and it doesn't need to happen. The good thing is it's an easy fix. So, how much time did you work out? Let's go back how much.
Head up. Head up. Head up. Good boy. Wait. Head up. We need to take him to the groomers, really. He needs you need to trim, as you can see. His hair is all over the place. It definitely works, this hairbrush. Taking all the excess hair off him. Look, I just brushed all that off. It definitely works. Stay there. Stay there. Trying to brush you, bro. Hey. Yeah, he definitely needs a trim though, because he's still scruffy. That's better. Cleaned the camera. Way better. But yeah, he needs a haircut. I need to take him to the groomers, as you can see. You look well pretty with your bow, bro. Do you know that? Yes. Who's a sexy boy with your bow? You look beautiful with your bow, Ted. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. You are a gentleman. Stay there. That's sexy. That's why he's called Teddy, because when you see a teddy bear, what does a teddy bear normally have around its neck? A bow. So he's literally a life-size teddy bear. Look at that shine in his coat as well. Like, he's got a coat like no other. Right, look at the shine in it. As I move around, right, look at the shine. I've just brushed him as well, look. I've just brushed his coat. Look how shiny his coat is. His coat is incredibly shiny, look. When I move around, look at the sheen on his coat. He's very unique. Because he's like a red colour, as you can see. He's not brown. He's like burgundy colour. Burgundy brown. But like a reddish brown, do you know what I mean? He's so unique. Look at his tail, the way it fans out like that. Most dogs' tails are just thin and all the way like a rat. And most dogs' tails are like this all the way through. Like, or whatever. Or docked or small. But his is like it fans out. Because it goes up like this. He's happy. See, look, that looks like a normal tail like that. As soon as he moves, you watch it fan out. He loves following me around like a little lapdog, look. See what I mean? No matter where I walk, look. Teddy thinks I'm playing the game, I think. No. Oh, he's going for a pee. I guarantee you. He knows when he wants to go for a wee. Look, watch. Yeah, and he's going for a wee. I've trained him very well. I've just got to bleach out the bath. But how good is that? He could have peed anywhere in my flat, but he knows to pee in the bath, mate. In an emergency. That's fucking smart as fuck, mate. That took me about a week to train him to do that, though. But I'm not lying to you, look, he's going for a wee. At least he's doing it in the bath and it's going down the plug hole. Do you know what I mean? What dog do you know that would automatically do that? Most dogs would just piss on the floor. Do you know what I'm saying? He's smart as fuck, mate. For an Alsatian Corgi. He's a Pembrokeshire Road Corgi mixed with a German Shepherd. What a weird combination. But he's smart as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Now I gotta bleach out the bath. But he's smart as fuck. Wash my hair. How's everyone doing today? What are you doing? Teddy. How's everyone doing? I'm just having some cereal. So here's the one. Teddy, look on the floor. That. How are they going to put in there? That's done. Some sugar pops. Beast. No. They're not sugar puffs. Ah. They're not called sugar puffs. It's mad. They're redoing all the roofs from out of the bungalows out the back of my apartment. They're redoing all the roofs tiles on the bungalows. It didn't even look that bad, to be honest. But look, I'll show you. But yeah, those roofs are gonna look well nice when they're finished. Look, they're re-stripping the whole roof. Look, and they're redoing every single block. Look, there's a bungalow here. There's a bungalow here. There's a bungalow here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 bungalows. Yeah, and there's one next to it there. And then there's 1, 2, 3 here. Mad, isn't it? So they've like got a whole work site there, like, a little toilet and everything. Look. My camera's well good though. Like, you can pick up the number plate from this far away. Literally. I can read that as well. That's crazy. But yeah. The roofs didn't even look that bad, so I don't know why they're redoing it, but yeah. It's a whole work site out the back, look. Literally. Don't start. Teddy, do not start tipping up your bowl of food. Oh, you hit me in the nuts, mate. Thanks for that. Oi! What did I just fucking say to you? Don't do that. You're gonna make it go everywhere. I know what you want. Come here. Oh, thanks. This is what you want. Stop barking. Just come in. Stop barking. If it rains, yeah, but it's a nice sunny day today, so. But yeah, they've stripped the whole roof. The fact that you can actually see into the attic and shit. Look, you see a workman working. Look, so how good my camera is. That I can pick him up from here, and that's like 200 feet. That's like 200 meters away. Actually, no, I'd say it's about not 200 meters. I'd say it's about 50 meters away. 75 meters away. No, I wouldn't even say 75 meters. You know, I'd say about 100 feet. Not even that. 75 feet away from me. That's more reasonable, yeah. You think where I am, like, I'm on the third floor, and you think how far away I am, like. Yeah, I'd say I'm about 75 feet away from that house over there. Because that don't even look like 100 feet away. But my camera can go to times 120, which is 120 feet. So. But yeah, it's mad. That work is gone now. It's on the roof over there. Crazy. Don't start, man. Leave it alone, man. It should be now. I have my cereals. I've got my cereal. Yeah, it should be. I love my dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. Sit down. Is that a Rice Krispie I dropped on the floor, was it? See, when you look at him, he looks like a puppy. Everyone thinks he's a German Shepherd puppy because he's so small. I've had a lot of people say that. Oh, I like a German Shepherd puppy. I'm like, he's not a puppy. Well, he sort of is a pup because he's not even free yet. It'll be free in August. Do you know what I mean? So he's like 36, 35, 34 months old at the moment. But yeah, look at the shine in his coat. That's because I give him this stuff as well. This stuff here has got good vitamins in it, working dog food. And this one here has got omega-3 and 6, which obviously for nourished skin and lovely shiny coat. And like you can see, proof's in the pudding. Look how shiny his coat is. But look at this sheen here. When I take him to the groomers and he gets professionally groomed, right, and they take all the hair off in the right places, he's going to look even better. But I groomed him about a year ago, and then I took him to the groomers to tidy him up from that, to tidy up my work, even though it took me about 6 hours to do it. I shaved him all one grade, and it took me ages. It was like grade 6, and it took me fucking, like I said, 5-6 hours to do it. I did his tail, his legs, his belly, I did everything to make sure it was all like one level. And when I was finished, he looked like, literally like a German Shepherd puppy, because with really short fur, instead of really having really long fur. But if I see the long fur now, that's taken, he's not, when I first got him, obviously I took him to the groomers as well, but when I first got him, he looked like literally a miniature German Shepherd. Right, the proper mane, big puffy coat and everything. But they've trimmed him down quite a bit. But that was like 2 years worth of growth. So for him to get like that again, I'm going to have to wait another 2 years till he's about 4 till he'll look like that again. But I want him to look like what he originally looked like, because he looked crazy. But he looked beautiful. And now I look back at it, I can't believe I got rid of it, because he looked a lot more unique. But he needed to be shaved in a way, because his coat was that thick. It would have been a struggle in the winter, summer, with a thick coat like that. But can you see the black bit around his scruff, around his neck? Here, look. This black line here, basically, is a lot more prominent when I first got him. Because obviously, you could see a German Shepherd in him. But it's growing back, like I said, all this. But it's not as thick as it was. He's getting chunky. You're getting chunky. £55. £110 in total. And that's to take him twice a year. Take him to the groomers twice a year. £110. Right, look at his tail wagging. Nibble my feet. Yeah, look at that tail wag. How unique is that tail? He's got such a unique tail, hasn't he? Ah, don't eat my toes. Don't chomp on my toe. Look, he will as well, look. Look, ah. It's like one of those real life crocodile things, but he is the crocodile. If I get too close, you'll snap. Mate, I'm dodgy as fuck, mate. I don't care, mate. I take risks. Ah! That hurt. He's not liking that. Winding him right up. Yeah, you lick my foot. I bet. How's that taste? Tastes good. Wants to play. You sound like Chewbacca. Ah, fuck that. Go up. See how quick you got up. Let's try this cereal then. I'm back now. Yeah, it sounds like Teddy's trying to speak. Yes, that'll work nicely. Do that. What can I say, bro? One handful should fit right there perfectly. Yes. 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 Perfect. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Not too nasty. Boosh. 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 Tiny little bit of milk, mate. Fucking tiny little bit of fucking milk. Oh, actually, a fucking lot of bit of milk. Fuck. Fucking eat my cereal, mate. I don't know why I'm speaking Australian. Fucking eat my cereal, mate. Alright, mate, I got some fucking cornflakes. Cornflakes? Honey nut cornflakes. So this is going to be delightful. Delightful indeed. Ted. But I cannot wait to talk into this. This just looks delightful. I'm going to try it. Never mind. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, it's really good, man. How's everyone? Just eating the cereal. My dog's just sat there like, I guess he's waiting for me to drop some. Oi. You go. I'm loving that. Oh. 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 I knew you'd jump up. There's no one out there, Ted. That's nice. Let's go. Come on, Ted.
Flying dumbbell press and chest press. This is one reason why we all love to cross over to the no other piece of equipment will allow you to hit a muscle at so many different angles. Another piece of growth science that's 100% legit is to get your pump on. But what the heck does that even mean? Actually a benefit to you. This is the only good myth on the list. Another marketing tool that's going to take your money is supplements. The number 5 myth is anything that promotes a pill as a secret to weight loss. Your quote secret to weight loss is not in a pill. While there may be some out there that slightly increase metabolism or promote fat burn, in the grand scheme of things, this will make a small dent in your overall weight loss journey. We're not saying to not utilize these, but be sure to keep them in their proper role. Speaking of burning fat, the number 6 weight loss fact is that burning fat equals losing fat. This confusion also has sometimes been used in marketing. For example, they might say a supplement increases your fat burn, suggesting this means you're going to lose fat. However, while caffeine is burning fat, it also leaves more carbs to burn later. Your body is always burning fat for energy along with using carbs. However, even when it's burning fat, you might still be gaining weight. Losing fat occurs when you burn fat, but also get into a caloric deficit, so that it's not refilled. For number 7, we'll address a long-standing tip. This one has been around forever and is still shared regularly. We're talking about don't eat food after 6 p.m. This tip tries to suggest that eating foods late at night results in greater fat gain, usually explained by your metabolism being slower. In reality, the timing of your eating doesn't really matter so much, assuming your calories are the same. In other words, eating 3,000 calories in the morning will have the same effect as eating 3,000 calories in the evening. However, there is some nuance to this. For number 8, it's also a myth to say it doesn't matter when you eat. Hardly anything in the world of fitness and nutrition occurs in absolutes. We just went over your total calories is what matters in terms of gaining weight. However, this doesn't always mean timing doesn't make a difference. In reality, don't eat after 6 has been a useful tool for some people in losing weight. However, it's not because of your metabolism, so it still comes down to total calories. However, the worst of our diets occur in the late hours, pizza, shakes, etc. No one raids the kitchen at 10 p.m. for grilled salmon. Therefore, stopping at 6 p.m. does eliminate a lot of the excessive calories. Next, let's knock out some more bad advice. Myth number 9 usually sounds like HIIT is better than steady state for losing fat or something of that nature. To clarify, HIIT refers to high-intensity interval training, which includes performing intervals of maximal intensity interspersed with intervals of recovery. Steady state refers to performing cardio at a consistent, moderate speed for a prolonged period of time.
How's it been doing?
A treadmill workout. It came on the scene a few years ago and was hailed as better for fat loss. In reality, both steady state and HIIT are good tools to use for weight loss, and they work equally as well, with time efficiency being the only real variable favoring HIIT. We're now in the double digits, so we'll give you another big one. The number 10 myth is that walking is the best way to lose weight. To be clear, we think cardio is great and everyone should include it in their training. We just went over the 10,000 step belief. However, if you can only pick one of the methods of training, we believe that lifting weights is a better tool. Lifting weights is still going to burn calories, but it will also help maintain muscle and strength during your fat loss journey. If all you do is walk or some other form of cardio, you don't get this benefit. Now, obviously, the best option is to do walking with your weight training. For that reason, we want to talk about myth 11, which is more of a misunderstanding, and that's people severely underestimate the impact of walking. Many people falsely believe that your training must be intense to be effective for weight loss, and that's a problem. Going on a daily 30 to 60 minute walk can make a huge impact on your overall weight loss journey. The important takeaway is not to underestimate the impact of simply moving will play in your weight loss journey. Now let's talk about another misunderstanding. Number 12 is another myth, plain and simple. It states that your metabolism drops after the age of 30. Well, that claim has some truth to it, but it is terribly misleading. This claim is usually
I don't reckon your metabolism drops at 30 because my metabolism, mate, I burn food well fast. And like, I'm not exactly fat, am I fast a lot as well.
Rather, it's caused by our behavior. After 30, we tend to stop being as active as our younger years and our diet usually.
Today though, I broke my fast after not eating anything for, I had something last night, the last thing I ate.
If people stay active and eat
Was
healthy
it like
their whole life, our metabolism is steady until about the age of 60.
4 in the morning.
Don't accept this fate. Staying active is the best thing you can do for your
And I didn't
longevity
eat anything
and
until like
increasing the quality of your life. Going back to another straight-up lie, myth 13
half 11 now, so I didn't eat anything until like,
programs. Technically known
I
as
ate like maybe half 10 an hour
body
ago.
type fat loss programs claim to be the ideal program for your body type. Ectomorphs who
So
are
yeah, I
tall
hadn't
and
eaten anything
slim,
for about 6
mesomorphs
hours.
who are athletic, and endomorphs who are shorter and fatter. Interestingly, these body types were created to identify the possibility of physical characteristics being linked to personality traits. For example, endomorphs are supposed to be friendly and outgoing. So none of this is true, and none of it has any link to weight loss.
As we're talking about practices with little connection to science, let's talk about your BMI for number 14. Now, BMI isn't as outlandish as somatotypes, as there is some legitimate use to it, just not how it's used today. You see, BMI was created in the 1830s by Adolphe Quetelet, a Belgian mathematician and sociologist. It was created as a quick assessment tool to track trends in populations, not individuals. Adolphe needed an easy way to assess the fitness level of an entire town's population. However, he even specifically stated it was not a good assessment to make a definitive decision on the health of an individual person. This is because there are a ton of variables that aren't accounted for, such as water weight, percentage of muscle or fat, bone size, and others. Again, it was a tool to measure people in an entire town. Yet another common teaching that can lead people astray is number 15. We're talking about the idea that nutrition is 80% while your training is 20. While we understand the general idea of the saying, it's not really true. This is trying to emphasize the importance of nutrition for your health, which is definitely not a bad thing. However, it's nutrition and training against each other, when in reality they complement each other and work best when they're both optimized. Both your nutrition and training should be 100%. If either of them are off, your results will suffer. For number 16, let's talk about muscle. Specifically, how many or how few calories a pound of muscle burns. You've probably heard of the importance of building muscle while you lose weight, as muscle will burn more calories. While there are a lot of awesome reasons you should lift weights while losing fat, burning calories isn't one. It is true that muscle will burn more calories, however, it's not a ton, as this claim seems to imply. 1 pound of muscle burns an extra 5 to 6 calories per day. If you figure you might put on 20 to 25 pounds in your first year, you can expect to burn an extra 100 calories after 365 days of training. Of course, 100 calories is 100 calories. However, you have plenty of other stuff to get excited about with lifting. Speaking of exaggerations, number 17 is going to give the real deal with EPOC. EPOC is one of the latest buzzwords. It stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. This refers to the amount of work done by your body once you stop exercising to bring your body system back to homeostasis. Once you stop exercising, your body continues to require oxygen at an elevated rates to repair tissue, replenish energy sources, and remove metabolic byproducts generated during the exercise, such as lactic acid. So EPOC is real, but it's been marketed as if it's the most important part of the workout. It's not. Studies show that the total calories you burn with EPOC is equal to about 6 to 15% of the total calories burned during exercise. So yes, it does exist, but still to a very small effect, making it hardly worth it to choose workouts solely upon it. Another exaggeration, number 18 deals with fast weight loss. Really anything with fast weight loss.
Like a scratch on my nose.
Though every ad for weight loss has to do with
scratch
instant
there.
weight loss, 30 pounds in 30
Looks like a
days.
line.
We can't comment
It looks
on
like a line.
these,
Does it look
but
like a
the
spot?
results are far from normal, assuming they're even true.
No,
However,
they
even
can't
if
fucking
they
know.
are real, they're still occurring way too fast. If you were to go to any traditional nutritionist, they'd recommend you get an extra 300 to 500 caloric deficit daily. However, 1 pound of fat requires approximately 3,500 calories to burn. This means that it would take you a minimum of 1 week to burn 1 pound of fat, or 4 pounds a month. Even this number might be too high in the long term, meaning that losing fat even slower might be ideal. This slow rate of fat loss will help mitigate the possibility
fat loss and your health. However, in order to see these improvements in the mirror, you need to follow a diet. Yeah? What one? Myth 24 is that there's a best diet out there. Every diet or hack tends to claim to be the best way to lose weight. To back these claims up, they have amazing feedback from actual followers. Here's the thing, the feedback might be true, all of it. In other words, every diet has people that have done amazing on it. You see, every diet will work for some people. However, there's no perfect diet. What these diet advertisements don't tell you about is all the people who have failed. That's because not everyone does well on every diet. So there's no perfect diet, but there might be a perfect diet for you. In fact, maybe you don't even need a diet. Maybe you just need to cut out certain foods. You see, there's two things that dictate a diet's success. The first is that it puts you in a caloric deficit. For Myth 25, we're going to tell you the second one. The most important variable of a diet that will dictate your success isn't what foods it cuts out or what time frame you eat, but adherence. Every diet claims to use different mechanisms to promote fat loss. Perhaps it's increasing fat metabolism for fuel. Maybe it gives you flexibility in what foods you can eat so you don't lose interest. In reality, any of these could work for you. It's your job to find out what makes the most sense to you. What type of diet or style of eating fits your needs and lifestyle. You'll know if it works if you're able to adhere for a long period. Ideally, you'll find a way of eating that doesn't feel like a diet. This is what will cause meaningful weight loss, long-term adherence. Speaking of diets, there is one tactic that would have a problem with. Myth 26 is the use of cheat days. Using cheat days is a sure way to sabotage your progress and might even completely derail your diet. Remember, you should only be in a 500-calorie deficit daily, meaning in 6 days, you'll have a total of a 3,000-calorie deficit. If you give yourself the freedom to eat what you want for an entire day, you can easily get rid of your entire deficit. For example, people are often seen eating an entire Domino's pizza, which could have 1,800 to 2,500 calories. At the very least, it'll slow down your weight loss significantly. Still, we believe this style of eating makes you associate your normal diet foods as being boring. Imagine believing you're being punished all week and your only bit of happiness comes from looking forward to the weekend so you can eat the greasiest bacon cheeseburger and pizza. Instead, you should have put more effort into finding healthy recipes for delicious foods so you don't feel like you need to have a cheat day. Up until now, we've been dealing a lot with myths that have a bit of nuance in them. For myth 27, let's get back to a myth that's just 100% wrong: training by body types. We're not sure when the body type training started or why, but it needs to go. Body types is simply referring to what are known as somatotypes. Somatotypes were identified in the 1940s by a sociologist named William H. Sheldon. What does a sociologist have to do with weight loss? Well, nothing. He was originally testing a theory that said physical characteristics were attached to personality. For example, he theorized that endomorphs, short and heavier weight, tended to be more jovial and sweet. On the other hand, ectomorphs, tall and skinny individuals, are intelligent, shy, and creative, while mesomorphs, individuals with athletic builds, are confident and aggressive. And if you're thinking that has nothing to do with weight loss, you are correct. Everyone loses the same, and everyone gains weight the same. Don't fall for these
Special programs. The only thing special about them is the high price. Myth 28 is another downright lie. Carbs make you fat. While we're at it, let's include myth 29. Fat will make you fat. If you're old enough to remember growing up in the 80s and early 90s, you remember that fat was demonized and was the sole reason for weight gain in the USA. However, a shift started around the 2000s and was in full swing by 2010. Now, carbs were the enemy. Doesn't take a genius to realize these both can't be right. So which one is right? Neither. Both are wrong. No single nutrient is the sole reason you're gaining weight. You gain weight due to eating excessive calories. In reality, this is due to the sheer amount of added sugar in our diet and processed foods. These foods are simply extra high in
You know, in
calories
America,
and
the reason people are so fat in
they have
America
low or
is
no
because food
nutritional value.
isn't made for the consumer, it's made for the supermarket for shelf life. And that's it. Right? Whereas in the UK, the food is made for the consumer and not for the supermarket. Hence why we're not fat in the UK.
Again, this belief comes
All the
from
rest of
people
Europe are not
judging
fat.
food solely based on the amount of calories in it. As diet soda has no calories, it must be good, right? Nope. Soda has artificial sweeteners that can cause similar responses in insulin and is still associated with metabolic syndrome and obesity. How does it increase obesity? Apart from confusing with insulin release, studies show it can trigger dopamine and actually increase appetite. To be fair, there are also studies that show it might help with weight loss. However, this is hardly true for 100% of people, so it's not a magic bullet. Besides, there are far too many other issues to make it your primary source of hydration if you're losing weight. Just stick to water. But that's not the only diet food to be aware of. Myth 31 is that reduced calorie foods are good for you. In reality, almost any fat-free or reduced fat food has issues. Again, these claims are feeding off fear of fat. As we mentioned in myth 29, some fats are actually good for you. Unfortunately, these good natural fats are what's usually taken out of food. At that same time, these fats are usually just replaced with carbs, generally simple sugars as a means to add taste. They're just swapping around calories. Again, stick to whole foods and this won't be an issue. Speaking of whole foods, your diet shouldn't restrict
How can I do it?
Myth 32 is that keto, carnivore, or any other restricted diet
What's
is
everyone else
good
do?
for weight loss. There's a ton of nuance in this one, but the main issue is demonizing an entire food group as a whole. Again, in modern times, it's generally carbs. However, even veganism, which marks off all animal products, may not guarantee your key to weight loss. Well, it might be if it fits your lifestyle, but it's not a miracle diet for every person. If it works for you, then
Busy,
it's great.
Ted.
But if you can't adhere to it, it's worthless. So again, this doesn't mean these can't work. We're just saying there's nothing inherently magical about them. Speaking of veganism, myth 33 is a trick they use when comparing a traditional diet against veganism. When a vegan diet is promoted, they often compare it to a traditional diet to prove its superiority. When the traditional diet is shown, it's usually a mixture of soda, pizza, hamburgers, and of course, veganism is better than that. However, a nutritionist writing a meal plan for an omnivore isn't going to use those foods because no one thinks they're healthy. A healthy omnivore diet would be full of fish, lean meats, complex carbs, nuts, legumes, fruit, vegetables, etc. Plus, a whole lot of what's on pizza and burgers are
The weed's got better, a lot better over the last day though, because I've had it just drying out in front of me in a pot, like out in the open like this, so it can dry out better. Just because once it's moisture, a lot more moisture's gone out of it, it's a lot nicer to smoke. When it's got moisture in it, it's horrible. Because you're essentially just smoking water molecules.
Recently, some studies have shown this might actually be possible through both medical interventions and your training. However, research is far from conclusive, and there are too many unknowns to allow someone to prescribe a solid training program. Further, the entire idea is to set someone up for failure. What if they try and they don't lose weight in that spot that's desired? They'll probably get discouraged. Any excess fat will hurt your physique and your health, so just concentrate on the total body fat, or else you might get involved with suboptimal training. Let's address another myth with training. Myth 35 is that you can train away a bad diet. Now, of course, training is going to help you burn calories. However, this means nothing if you don't have your diet under control. Think about this. Who has ever gained weight because they didn't train enough? No one. Everyone throughout history has always gained weight because they ate too much. Sure, being involved in regular training will increase the amount of calories you eat. However, you can definitely eat more if your diet is left unchecked. Stop putting so much emphasis on your fat-burning workouts and pay more attention to your daily nutrition. Then you'll start seeing real results. Let's tackle another myth that deals with high expectations. Myth 36 is that weight loss happens immediately.
Christmas, got a pair of discos, Teddy wants some.
This could be due to a plethora of reasons. Perhaps you're not fit enough and your training isn't as intense as it could be. Maybe you're eating hidden calories somewhere.
I'll open them in a minute, Teddy. Alright?
It could be anything.
Yeah.
The point is, don't expect to see significant results right away.
These, I'm going to open them in a minute, buddy.
Before reaching any assessments, and that's the bare minimum.
You got to be patient while I roll this cigarette, right?
Actually busting a busted myth.
You can have some.
You can lose weight.
You got to be patient, Ted.
Generally,
You'll be patient. Yeah, there's no point in licking me. It's not going to make me open the packet any faster, is it?
Calorie beer is okay. While this may technically be right, it's not reality. By reality, we mean that people can easily get carried away and drink them. In fact, that's the joke. The crazy night always starts with, I'll just have a cup. At the same time, alcohol actually triggers your AGRP neurons, which are your starvation neurons. In other words, they trigger stronger hunger. This is why you might get...
There's no point in tapping me. I'm not going to open the packet any faster, Ted.
It's not good.
Might as well wait, buddy. I said to you, wait until I roll this cigarette and you can have some.
That means the best option is to stay away. Plus, alcohol is going to waste money, and since eating healthy is so expensive, you need to save your money. Or is it? Myth 38 is that eating healthy...
Patience, Ted. I told you
Maybe
this.
this was true a couple of decades.
If you're patient,
but not
you will
anymore.
get something.
Perhaps you won't be able to
Simple
eat
as that.
sirloin and salmon
Please,
every meal.
please do not bark as well. I can't wait till there's no, I've got a muzzle coming through. It's a specialised muzzle that stops him from barking, but it's got a harness on it and an easy clip away clip on it to unclip it as well. And I'm hoping that'll stop him barking at random dogs across the road from me and stuff. Even though when I go over there, he just wants to sniff and say hello, but he's all barking and a bite. He's basically saying, get the fuck off my territory, do you know what I mean? But he's proper aggressive with it, so I'm hoping that this no bark muzzle actually helps. Harness muzzle slash harness helps. I need to get him a new harness actually as well, a new black one.
39 is that fasting is an effective way to lose weight. Again, this one's full of nuance. Fasting.
I'll show you his booties, they're well cool. I got him these, look.
Primary working mechanism comes down to you not eating as many
I'll show you.
In other words, there's nothing about fasting
Teddy.
that speeds up fat loss or makes you lose more fat, assuming you're eating the same
I got him these.
In terms of weight loss, it helps some people control their total caloric intake. At the same time, some people will wait until they eat and then chow down on thousands of calories, thinking it's okay, they fasted. For fasting to work, you still must fix your diet. For the big 4-0, we're going to fix a huge fault. Now, this isn't a myth per se, rather it's a damaging behavior that many exhibit while losing weight. We're talking about the need to obsess over every little detail of your workout.
I'll call it a day.
Of course,
I'll call it a day.
in fact, you need
And I've ordered a pair of these for Teddy. Look, how nice are they?
weight loss journey can begin to obsess
Proper booties for him.
everything.
You can zip them up from the front, look. And look at the thickness of the sole on them as well. They've got a nice thick sole on them as well. But yeah, I got them from this company here, Prim Dog. And they got 17 reviews, like 4.5 star. But they look really good, so I'm hoping these look really good on him as well.
Stressing over every detail every day is a surefire way to faith. Be aware throughout the day. Understand your journey will not be perfect. Like we said earlier in the video, it's not linear. And obsessing over everything won't make it so. That makes it incredibly easy to create an optimal environment for growth.
So, how does this work? Well, that's what we want to find out. One of the main reasons lifters take protein powder is for muscle growth. So, does protein powder actually drive more gains? Spoiler alert, yes, it does. A meta-analysis from 2012 examined studies with over 600 participants to determine if protein supplementation increased muscle mass. To be clear, this study specifically looked at the intake of protein powder post-workout. In addition, it only examined studies that were at least 6 weeks long, as it's believed protein supplementation benefits come from long-term use. You can't just chug protein shakes once and then stop right away. After a full analysis, they made a pretty good find. When compared to placebos, protein supplementation resulted in a 38% greater increase in fat-free mass. So, if you gained 10 pounds of muscle without protein supplementation, you could have gained an extra 3.6 pounds with it. Right here, it's important to note that, as you can see, you can still increase muscle mass without protein supplementation. However, it will just capitalize on the hard work you put in the gym. So why settle for 10 pounds when you could have 13.8 just by drinking a tasty, cheap shake? Sounds like a no-brainer to us. A more recent meta-analysis was then performed in 2017, which examined a total of 1,863 participants. This makes it one of the largest meta-analyses to date, almost as large as you'll be if you keep chasing those gains. Again, when comparing protein supplementation with resistance training alone, the supplementation produced better results. This included a 27% increase in fat-free mass, as well as a 14% increase in muscle fiber cross-section area when compared to the placebo. One interesting note made in this meta-analysis is that protein supplementation was more effective for resistance-trained individuals. Why could this be the case? We suspect it's because it's easier for non-trained individuals to build muscle. When a person starts training, building muscle is relatively easy. There's a lot more wiggle room with diet and training to see positive results in muscle growth. However, as you become more advanced, putting on muscle becomes increasingly difficult. We want to note this doesn't mean that untrained individuals do not see increases in muscle mass. They do. What that means is they saw similar results whether they consumed a protein supplement or not. Now that's two huge meta-analyses that both confirm that protein powder supplementation results in an increase in muscle mass. This is the general consensus since studies began on protein supplementation. For example, this study, way back from 2005, in it, 22 young, healthy men partook in resistance training methods for 14 weeks. When examining all the variables, everything was similar. One real difference was their post-workout meal. The control group simply ate a serving of carbohydrates, while the experimental group consumed a supplement containing 25 grams of protein, 16.6 grams from whey, and the remaining from other sources. After 14 weeks, the protein group did see a small advantage in strength with the squat jump. In the squat jump, an athlete descends into a semi-squat position and holds the position for approximately 3 seconds before takeoff. Here, the protein group saw a 9% improvement in height, whereas the carb group saw none. However, in the counter movement vertical jump, there was no difference as both groups saw an increase of 10%. The counter movement vertical jump is performed when the athlete starts from a standing position and initiates a downward movement, which is immediately followed by an upward movement leading to takeoff. Now, in terms of muscle hypertrophy, the protein group really outshined the carbohydrate group and saw significantly greater growth. Specifically, the protein group saw an 18% greater increase in type 1 fibers. These are smaller fibers that have less force capability, yet possess awesome endurance capability. In addition, they saw a 26% increase in the cross-section area of the muscle.
Hope it was alright.
6%. The
Hi,
growth
Lorraine.
in the carb group was just negligible. Now let's go back to the increase in squat jumps. What's going on here? Now with the protein
Hope everyone's
supplementation,
alright.
we see a larger squat jump than the placebo. Well, one of the reasons for the increase in squat jump was thought to have occurred due to the increase in type 2 muscle fibers. Remember, these are the fibers that are responsible for creating a high amount of force. To look at the association between strength gains and muscle gains more, let's revisit the 2012 meta-analysis from earlier in the video. Remember, it reviewed 22 trials with protein's effect on muscle mass. However, it also examined gains in strength and concluded that the protein supplementation does in fact contribute to gains in strength, specifically 1 rep max strength.
The only thing I take is my protein shake, which has got like creatine, monohydrate, amino acids, and whey protein.
45% larger increase in type 1 muscle fibers and a 55% larger increase in type 2 fibers. This increase was then related to the increase in strength, where it was found that a greater increase in muscle fiber CSA was accompanied by a 20% greater increase in 1 rep max leg press strength. Basically, the muscles with a larger increase in type 2 muscle fibers saw greater improvement in strength.
Wait, come here. Come here.
Size and muscle strength
Come here.
are related, but
Come here.
from completely different mechanisms. Strength occurs through the improvement
Lie
of the
down.
neuromuscular system, while
Lie
the
down.
increased muscle mass occurs through
Lie
the
down.
addition of contractile units of the muscle. This means that strength can increase independently from muscle growth. The existing muscle learns to produce more
Stay.
force.
Stay.
At the same time, when
Stay.
the muscle grows, it adds contractile units, which means the potential for strength goes up as well. So strength can go up through
Steady, steady.
improvements in the neuromuscular system, as well as the addition
Steady.
of contractile units. Therefore, strength and size will grow together, but it's not
Lie down.
However, the muscle growth that occurred from the protein supplementation study also made more strength and more muscle growth.
He's talking. Lie down.
We can also turn to the other more
Lie down.
meta-analysis for more evidence of the effect of protein
Lie down.
supplementation on strength. The studies in this meta-analysis utilized a variety of 1 rep max testing, such as bench press, arm curl, squat, and lat pull down. Together, participants saw an average of a 9%
Don't bark.
increase in 1 rep max strength. However, as noted in the study, a 9% increase is
Ah.
but it's not.
What did I say to you?
Your programming and
Listen to me.
exercise selection
No
will
barking,
have a much
please.
Greater effect on strength gains. At that same time, we'll take the 9% increase if all we need to do is drink a thick, delicious ice cream cake batter protein shake. But perhaps the clearest illustration of protein supplementation benefiting an athlete is with pre-sleep protein. Pre-sleep protein is a relatively new area of study that examines the usefulness of drinking a protein supplement 30 minutes before sleep. Usually, this is done with casein,
No barking.
a slow digesting protein. Unlike whey, which floods the bloodstream with amino acids quickly, casein releases a slower flowing stream of amino acids. As a result, when taken before sleep, it increases the amount of amino acids in the bloodstream all night as you sleep, as well as muscle protein synthesis. This is effective at increasing muscle growth. While there's still a lot to learn about
Thank you.
nighttime protein, the studies we have as of now are very promising.
So are you, but- well, I can't see you, but yeah.
All the studies to date,
I expect you are as
analyze the
well.
results that a pre-sleep
Even though I
protein
can't see you.
supplement has
Steady.
for muscle protein synthesis and other outcomes. It found that a 20 to 40 gram serving of casein protein increases muscle protein synthesis overnight.
I'm okay.
That said, the
Thank you for the
general
compliment.
recommendation is on the larger end of that spectrum, 30 to 40 grams. That's great, but does this transfer to actual muscle growth? Well, pre-sleep protein was found to have positive benefits on 1 rep max strength, muscle size, and an increase in the cross-sectional area of muscle fibers. What
Don't
makes
fucking
this
start, Teddy.
specific to protein powder is that protein powder allows you to eat a large amount of protein quickly with low calories. To reach that same amount of protein and calories with whole food, you need to eat 2 whole skinless chicken breasts with no seasoning or sauce. Yummy. Give me the cookies and cream protein shake, please. One always study let's look at whole food pre-sleep, but we imagine it's just not practical to do it on a consistent basis. And this is really the main benefit of protein powder. At certain times, having a quick, convenient protein source that actually tastes good is a very nice tool to have. In fact, this was the consensus of one of, if not the only study we know of that looked at using strictly whole foods for protein intake, including post-exercise. Yes, you can definitely only eat whole foods. However, it is difficult. The research concluded However, obtaining dietary protein exclusively from whole foods may not always be convenient or feasible due to a variety of reasons, including cost, palatability,
No thanks.
competitive or training schedule, and volume of whole food that needs to be consumed to
I'm
meet
currently seeing
protein.
something saying that with
Protein
disrespect.
supplements remain a convenient complementary nutritional strategy for physically active adults to meet protein recommendations at select
Thanks, man,
meals
no thanks.
throughout the day. And that should be your main takeaway. Protein powder is a cheap and
Thanks for the
convenient
offer.
protein source that can be strategically used to optimize training outcomes and muscle growth. Taken at any other time of day, protein powder is really just another food source that makes reaching protein intake easier. So yes, protein powder works. but
Is there
it
a
is
spot there,
just
so I
that,
picked it.
protein. So we clearly shown that protein has benefits, but what does that mean for you? Well, for one, it's important to point out that the meta-analyses specifically mentioned prolonged use. While there are some measurable outcomes that can occur overnight, meaningful adaptations take a long period of consistent use. Therefore, your nutritional strategy for protein should become a constant. In addition, consider your daily protein intake rather than just a single serving. The daily protein intake for athletes and lifters is much more than the general population's recommended daily intake due to the increased stress and damage placed on the muscle. Therefore, the general recommendation by leading sports researchers, such as the ISSN, is anywhere from 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight.
But no, I just had a spot there, so I picked it.
You can get away with
And now it's left a hole there.
if you're losing weight for the caloric deficit stage
It's
is a
held
higher.
over overnight.
Not that you would, but you can probably guess this shouldn't all be eaten
Teddy,
in
stop
one
touching that thing, man.
Studies have shown that
You should end up turning it
protein
off.
throughout the day can
I know you're doing it on
optimize
purpose.
its role in the support and maintenance of your muscle mass. This is likely due to the spreading out of the spike in muscle protein synthesis from a single meal that lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. Therefore, spread your total protein intake across 4 to 6 servings throughout the day. Every
4 to
3
6
4
servings. I have all my
hours.
protein in
The
one
key
serving.
point here is that each
Huh,
serving
no wonder I'm
should
shit.
contain a minimum of 20 to 25
By
grams
like
of protein.
48 hours
This
later,
tends to be the
because
threshold
it
for
flushes
maintenance
everything out your
of
system
NPS.
if you have that
What
much protein.
means is that you can definitely
Ends up being
consume
like a
more
laxative,
than this,
basically.
and you will probably have to eat your total daily intake. However, that spike in muscle protein synthesis will not be as dramatic as it is up to the 25 grams when it starts to level off. Other than that, there are 2 occasions.
25 grams. I have 146 grams of
First
protein.
is your post-workout feeding.
And then I feed it by doing all my different exercises
to consume a meal.
feed the
This
muscles.
was to
As they've got the
capitalize on
protein.
spike of muscle protein synthesis from working out. We now know it isn't exactly true. As mentioned, the spike in NPS lasts much longer than 60 minutes. However, it does start to slowly decline.
But I'll have my protein
As long
shake
as
and
you
then,
eat
like,
every 3 to 4 hours, you
2 hours
don't
later,
need
once
to
I've let it go down,
However, we still
I'll
advise
do my
protein
exercises.
sooner rather than later, just like in
because now my
salads. At the
muscles
same
are
time,
extra
you
protein
might
to
need a
work
large
with.
amount of protein at this
So
time.
then obviously when I do work out, protein synthesis are all the amino acids to be able to chain together nicely.
Increases in NPS. However, after training, studies show that 40 grams can still cause a greater increase than 20 grams.
40 grams can cause a greater increase than 20 grams. It's just fucking common sense, mate. I fucking have 140, 147.
Pre-sleep, which we just talked about. 30 to 40 grams of casein protein 30 minutes before you go to sleep, and you'll be good. Now, when it comes to protein powder, you can technically eat it for any of your protein feedings. Heck, you can eat it for all of your protein intake, but we wouldn't recommend that. You still want to get most of your protein from real food sources. This is to ensure the intake of other nutrients, such as vitamins and minerals, as well as other compounds, such as creatine, which comes from the meat. Don't fall into the trap of thinking the protein in powder is in any way superior to that in whole foods. It's literally the same thing. Again, we recommend post-workout and pre-sleep, perhaps as a snack or part of a breakfast smoothie, and you're good to go. And most importantly of all, remember that protein powder is a supplement. Just like all other supplements, it should supplement your diet. It shouldn't be 80% of your focus. Rather, the majority of your focus should be on eating whole foods and hitting your calories and macros. If you do that, 95% of the work is done. Then your focus on supplements, such as how to use protein powder, could give you the little bump in your performance you're looking for. Have you ever heard how celery is a miracle food? That it'll actually make you burn more calories than it provides simply by digesting it? Basically, this implies that you will burn calories every time you eat celery. If you have, well, we wanted to tell you absolutely none of that is true. However, people want to believe it is because everyone's looking for that superfood to help them burn their fat. While we don't have any foods that'll melt fat off your bones on their own, there are some that can definitely help your journey, backed by science. This video will go over the foods you definitely need to have in your diet. In order to lose weight, you basically need to burn more calories than you eat. We know it's a bit more complicated than that, but that is the gist of it. This means that we gain weight from eating. So how could eating help us lose weight? That's because not all foods are created equal. If you've ever heard the saying, a calorie is a calorie, or any other suggestion that all calories are equal, know that it is not true. We live in a time where everything about food has been broken down to a single variable. How many calories does it have? Of course, calories are extremely important when you're trying to burn fat. However, food is just more than calories, as you'll see. Different foods pack drastically different nutrients, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other compounds, which can have a significant effect on your body. So while the actual calories of a food are technically the same, the rest of the food can be drastically different, which can have an effect on weight loss. And with that in mind, we're going to start with an extremely important compound that is often looked over. Well, not technically food. This list would not be complete without mentioning water. So we're going to start with some good old H2O.
Teddy's world class.
Sure, it might be a boring food, but water can definitely help you lose weight. In fact, it can help you lose weight independent of diet and exercise. In other words, simply drinking more will help you shed the pounds. And a study followed 173 pre-menopause women who were trying to lose weight for over a year. During this time, the women tracked their diet, water intake, food intake, and any exercise they performed. All of the data was then analyzed, so the researchers were able to specify the exact role that water played in any weight loss. The results showed that women who increased their water intake to just over 1 liter of water saw 2 kilograms of fat loss as a result. So to be clear, this 2 kilos of weight loss came solely from drinking
Lie down.
and was in addition to any weight loss from diet or other exercise. What's even more amazing,
I've given you
is some of the
water.
results
You've got your
from other
food.
studies as well.
Taken you for a
Some
walk. You've been for a poo. Been for a fucking wee.
It's estimated that
2 poos and 2 wees. What more do you fucking want?
3 calories. Over the course of a year, this
Out.
added up considerably, especially when you consider
You're just gonna
all the
fucking annoy me.
people who
Out.
Drink water. However, there's more than one mechanism in drinking water that's believed to aid
Ouch.
fat loss. That is largely the
Ouch.
satiety effect of water. That means that drinking water will help keep you feeling full and fight off cravings. Helping you fight off cravings
used to
and
learn
lowering your calorie
on the
intake
naughty
is
step.
likely an even greater effect than the rise in metabolism, at least if you drink it at the right time. When is the right time?
It's like a little
That's
child, I
what
swear.
science says. A study followed a group of overweight participants who were trying to lose weight. 2 groups were created during the study, with the only difference being that one group drank a glass of water before each meal. Other than that, everything else was equivalent. What kind of difference could a glass of water before your meal make? Pretty massive, as they lost a staggering 44% more weight than those who didn't. This might just be the easiest food on this list to incorporate in your daily diet. So, now that you got your hydration down, let's get to your first food. Well, at least a local food. For the next foods, we have one that's a little spicy. We're talking about cayenne peppers. Well, we're actually talking about capsaicin, which is the active ingredient in peppers that makes your mouth burn. However, capsaicin supplements are usually
That's
more
what makes you
common
sweat,
in
you know, when you're
peppers,
like,
which is why there's a close
you have like
association.
really hot
So,
chilies,
as we
you
were saying,
sweat.
if you've ever wondered why
Capsaicin
burns, it's because it's
is sweating out of your
actually
pores.
irritant,
And then obviously when people, you're told not to obviously rub your eyes and stuff because the capsaicin come out your sweat glands. And then you end up rubbing your eyes and getting it in your eye. That's the fucking worst. It's like pepper spray. I've been pepper sprayed and it's not nice.
Which then releases heat into your body.
Pava spray, pepper spray.
It's
It's horrible.
approximately 50 calories a day. While there aren't a ton of studies on capsaicin's effects on weight loss, there are enough for there to be a meta-analysis. Published in 2023,
I read as well that tasers in the UK are underpowered compared to the ones in America, because the ones in America are like overpowered with it. Like, yeah, it can stop people in the tracks. I've seen the same as, even though the ones in the UK are so-called underpowered, they can still, I've seen them still stop people in the tracks. But a lot of people get past them. Like they'll still be standing even though they'll be hit with a barb and it's just fucking hanging out of their back or something.
Because it hurts. If you're sensitive to capsaicin, you'll likely reduce your appetite as well. And if it does, this can
Money.
result in a significant account for
It's
an
alright.
untold amount of calories. So how much should you eat? Well, we can't say for sure. However, we do know of one fat loss study which had participants eat 6 milligrams a day for 12 weeks. This dose led to significant amounts of fat loss, so that seems like a good spot to start. So now let's rewind to the beginning of the video, where we opened the video with the story of celery. We also said none of it was true. In reality, There is some truth in the gist of the explanation, and it all has to do with something that's called the thermal effect of food, or TEF for short. To understand TEF, we have to realize our bodies use energy to fuel every single process that
It's not
occurs.
raining here.
This includes
It's
things
quiet.
such as respiration and our brain processing.
No, we don't
information.
really see.
It also includes digestion.
In like expensive
Like
buildings, you do
cellular
have
storage,
hotels, but
TEF
not in
is
like
the amount of
houses.
calories that's required to digest food.
Unless it's like a really, really new expensive build.
So again,
And they
there
pay
are
to have
three
AC
macronutrients
fitted.
in our diets, and all three have different levels of TEF.
You're
One
seeing it
is
in a lot more like
significantly higher than the other two.
upmarket
The
private
macro with the lowest
houses and
TEF is
whatnot,
gonna be
but
fat. Fat is a
not
highly
really places
concentrated
like
form
this.
of energy, already broken down to
This
its
place was
simplest
built in the
components.
50s. Do you really think they had fucking AC back then?
It's very easy for your body to break it down. Ultimately, this means you aren't going to use a lot of energy to process it. Therefore, it has a TEF of 0 to 1%. That means if you ate 100
Got a
calories of
fan.
fat, you only burn
I need to
1%
buy
of
it.
the process.
Like,
The middle macro is carbohydrates. We can think of some carbohydrates.
it's like a
such as fruits,
dehumidifier, but
rice,
it's also like an AC and a dehumidifier in one.
require a bit more
So
energy
it
to
like
break
purifies the air at the same time. It's a bit like a Dyson air purifier. They're sick though. I want to get one of those. They're like a fan and an air purifier in one.
And then we have protein.
And it chucks clean air out in the atmosphere and sucks in all the bad air. Then tells you on the screen like how bad the air quality is in the room after say like an hour or two, after picking all the dust particulates up and analysing what it is sort of thing.
Ranging from 10 to 20%. Dr. Jose Antonio performed a famous study to examine the effects of an ultra-high protein diet. He found that even though the
Oh, yeah, it's
high protein
boiling.
group ate 800 calories more,
Like-
we didn't gain any fat. While we're on protein,
I'm pretty sure,
there's another benefit.
excuse me, I'm pretty sure it's like 22, 24 degrees in this living room right now.
Feeling full for longer.
But I'll tell you in a second.
Curb appetites naturally. For these reasons, high protein diets have been consistently found to be effective in weight loss studies. So what type of protein should you eat? In reality, any high protein food will have this effect. However, eggs seem to pop up a lot in research. Eggs are consistently used in studies to show the weight loss benefits of high protein diets. For example, a study from 2020 showed that simply adding eggs to breakfast resulted in an overall decrease of total calories, which ultimately meant more weight loss. Yogurt is another protein source.
I've got one going around tomorrow to fit my new smart meter. This is my old one, which is like, yeah, this dial on the front is fucked.
Lean beef against chicken as the main source of protein in two groups of participants losing weight. After 12 weeks, both groups lost a significant amount of fat. However, there was no difference between the groups. In other words, they both lost similar amounts of weight. Next on the list are diets high in fiber, particularly soluble fiber. Fiber is a type of carbohydrate that your body cannot fully digest. In fact, there are two types of fiber, insoluble and soluble. Insoluble fiber does not break down in water and is responsible for adding bulk to your stool. This helps digestive health and can keep you regular. On the other hand, soluble fiber
It's 26.9 degrees in this living room. No wonder it's warm. Fucking hell. Only 27 degrees in this lounge right now.
Researchers have found that high fiber diets may also help decrease weight through another mechanism, improving your
Good
gut
morning.
flora. For example, different individuals will start with a different situation going on in their guts, some more ideal than others. Researchers have found that a high fiber diet results in a greater overall improvement in those with a less than ideal gut. As a result, they tend to lose more weight. So what are some great high fiber foods? Well, oats are a standout. Studies have constantly been found to have a positive effect on your weight, either to lose weight or with weight management. Oats is a type of soluble fiber, meaning it helps fill up your stomach. However, oats also have other weight loss benefits. One major benefit is the improvement of appetite hormones leptin and ghrelin. Oats can raise leptin, which encourages you to stop eating, while decreasing ghrelin.
I always wonder why I
which
felt
usually
Phil
increases appetite.
when I ate oats, because it's got lectin in it, which makes you feel like when you stop eating. That's clever. Now I know it's not, you learn something new every day. Didn't know that. I always wonder why I felt full, or like I didn't want to eat after eating porridge.
For example, a
Makes sense
2018
now.
study had 34 participants follow a 12-week diet in
I might eat it more
one
often.
variable was to increase
Always wondered why
protein
it made me feel
intake
full for
and
longer.
protein. Specifically,
And like, yeah, I was never
fiber was
hungry
increased
after
to
eating
more
that
than
for a good
35 grams
while.
per day,
Like till
while
lunchtime
protein was
at least.
increased to over 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. Again, even though there was no controlling of calories, participants still ate 265 calories less per day on average. We should note that 0.8 grams per kilogram is actually still a low amount of protein. This simply means that their protein levels were very low before the diet. Regardless, both of these diets, independently and combined, have seen consistent
I don't even know if the
success
window's
in
open.
weight. Another group of foods that's shown to aid fat loss is a form of carbohydrate known as resistant starch. Starch is a complex carbohydrate called a polysaccharide, which is composed of a long chain of glucose molecules. It's commonly found in many vegetables and is especially connected to potatoes and rice. Now, resistant starch is a unique type of starch which, similar to fiber, passes through the small intestine undigested and reaches the colon intact. Once in the colon, it's fermented and feeds your gut flora. Again, this is similar to fiber, which can increase fat loss specifically because it improves your gut. At the same time, resistant starch has fewer calories than normal starch and other carbohydrates, 2 calories per gram versus 4. This allows you to eat more, yet fewer calories, which decreases total caloric intake while increasing satiety. There are several common foods which contain resistant starch, such as cashews, raw oats, and green bananas. One of the more common sources is a bit of a hack. You can cook potatoes and let them cool before you eat. This heating and cooling process causes an alteration which produces resistant starch. For the next food, we're going to give you another liquid to drink to wash down all that protein and resistant starch. Green tea. Green tea is an immensely popular beverage in the East and is slowly gaining traction in the West. Not only do drinkers enjoy the taste, there's one
Yeah, it's quite
very
warm, just put my
special
fan on.
ingredient that make it a
Still
great
quite,
tool to fight excess weight gain. Caffeine.
I feel the
Caffeine is
heat,
world's most popular
like the
stimulant
humidity.
and has proven to be a powerful tool for fat burning.
I don't know what the
Even
humidity
some
is in this
facts has been
living
suggested
room,
that
but it's probably
caffeine
quite
can
warm. It
increase
is
our
27
Again, our
degrees.
metabolism refers to a group of systems that dictate how many calories we burn on a daily basis. When you consume on a daily basis, it's
I just
estimated that
ordered,
green tea can burn
I wish I could tell you some,
calories per day.
um,
That's a lot for simply
like some
changing
cool
your
brown
hydration
booties,
cycle.
sand
In
colored
addition,
booties to
green
match his
tea
coat.
has several other health benefits
But then I also bought him some, I should have bought him the black ones really, or the grey ones. And I also bought him some, I also bought him a harness that's got like bags on it. It's got like a little first aid kit thingy on it. It's got like, basically it's got 3 separate bags on it, so I can like put stuff on it, so Teddy can carry things. Obviously not too heavy things, but it have cool little bags on it, so Teddy can actually carry stuff. And then obviously I can put his new badge in on it, his service dog badge on it, and all the other badges I've got. But it's got a handle on the front and a handle on the back, so I can literally pick him up like this. But it cost me $25.99. The booties cost me 20 quid, 22 quid, and I got a harness attachment thing where basically it stops him from barking. Well, I'm hoping that it says no bark muzzle, but it's got like a harness attachment on it, and it's got like an easy clip off, easy clip on sort of thing. So I bought that as well. So I'm hoping that with his new harness, his new booties on, and that no bark muzzle, I'm hoping that it does the job, that it stops him from barking. But surely, like, muzzles are made to obviously stop a dog from like completely opening their mouth completely, but the muzzle I had before didn't stop him from barking. He could still bark in it. It still gave him enough leeway that he could still, do you know what I mean, bark, but it was muffled a little bit. So I'll be impressed if this muzzle actually stops him from barking completely, because like, yeah, like I said, the last muzzle I had, the last 2 muzzles I had, he could still bark with it on. So yeah, I'll be impressed if it actually stops it from barking.
Further, we'll include the tip on what not to eat, or more specifically, what not to drink, basically any fluid with calories.
I'm explaining
You
things.
should drink at least 64 fluid ounces of liquid. Your other fluid will come through the food you eat.
Don't be so judgmental.
It's a different amount, so start with that number, and you can make alterations as necessary.
When I was younger,
We said that to get the most out of your green tea, you could try drinking 3 to 5 cups per day, which equals 24 to 40 ounces. adds up a large chunk of your daily hydration, which should then be filled up with water, another 24 to 40 ounces. However, keep in mind that number is used for all individuals. Therefore, if you exercise, this will likely be much more. If that's you, keep your green tea consumption the same and increase your total hydration with water. Other than water or green tea,
I'm not sure when it's due to come. They said to update me and let me know when it's ready. But yeah, I got a new harness coming for him, the boots, the no bark muzzle thing, and
this can make a huge dent in your total calories consumed. And if you're trying to add some flavor to your foods, be sure to use capsaicin in your
yeah, so you can transfer all the stuff I got on his old harness, his old badging and stuff. And this one's all black, whereas the other one was had red on it. But this one will look nice. But it's got like a handle on the front and a handle on the back as well. So pick Teddy up by the two handles instead of like picking up by the collar or putting my hand under his belly, picking up by the rear. Thank you.
James once said, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Well, maybe he's not a bodybuilder, but Rick James did say that, which is perhaps the most famous quote ever attributed to
They're diamond cut, and they got what they called leopards on the sides. Look. Yeah, it's the right lens. But you can see the detail on them. You see the line all the way down the spine, down the middle as well. And then they're holding like a ball or something. Pretty cool. I always say that's my love for animals because I love my animals. And they're diamond cut as well, as you can see.
This has nothing to do with this topic, but we figured we'd address it as we're here. Back to cocaine. The coca plant is largely found in South America, where it is grown as a cash crop for its leaves. Its properties are so potent that researchers believe that it played a large role in the large expansion.
Good on both sides as well.
Laborers and soldiers were said to work longer and harder due to their practice of chewing its leaves.
Pretty cool though.
It's a hell of a drug. Nowadays in the Western world,
So, I mean, they're unique as fuck. I don't think anybody's ever seen a pair of glasses like that.
after the harvesting of its leaves, the coca leaves
Or to stand out and be different.
powder that we know today as cocaine. This powder is then
You know what I mean?
divided out into thin lines where a person will utilize something called insufflation, the technical term for snorting up the nose. And this is when you get to its effects.
24 karat gold plated as well. Same as that. Matches my nose ring. Matches my watch. All matches.
is actually the name for the primary psychoactive alkaloid found in coca plants. Cocaine acts on the central nervous system and brings about increased sensations of alertness, well-being, euphoria, increased energy and motor activity, and sometimes increased sexuality. Compared to other drugs, the effects are relatively short, which is why a user will take numerous lines throughout an extended period of time.
You just need a gold chain to match.
Start to see effects in 5 to 10 minutes and peak effects around 15 minutes. This high will then persist for another 15 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, I know, gold is
And that pretty much sums up the extent of cocaine use, or at least builds a foundation to understand the drug. At its core, it's a stimulant that gives you more energy.
2,600 per ounce.
Desire to socialize.
Something
and
like that.
talk a lot. Depending on who you ask, you will get
24 karat gold plated,
depending on the experience. Some like
It's
it,
real
some
gold
hate
plated.
it. So now let's think about
plated.
what it can do for your
I'm not
muscle
sure how many
development.
microns
As
thick.
we just told you that those in the
Thick
past
enough
built
that
the empire with
the
coke.
whole
Pretty obvious
thing's
assumption
plated
we make is that it's
all the way to the end,
for
look.
squat and deadlifts. First off,
Both sides.
it is no surprise that there aren't a ton of studies on the use of cocaine in sport. This is largely due to ethical concerns, as cocaine is illegal, making it very difficult.
I want to get some like silicone tips on the end to protect the ends, and then the rubber tips, silicone tips will sit on my ears nicer, and the glasses will stay on my head even better. Do you know what I mean? They'll be more secure if I get some little rubber tips to go on the end.
Which can also give us a hint on
But I'm trying to find that online.
As pre-workout has become so popular in the fitness community, it should come as no surprise that lifters may be drawn to the increased arousal.
The legs, you mean the stalks?
This arousal also includes constricted
These are the
blood vessels,
stalks,
dilated
ear
pupils,
stalks.
and increased body temperature,
To go over your ears.
So let's first look at how traditional prep workouts function and if they're even beneficial. Pre-workouts are a family of supplements that are meant to be taken just before training to provide an increase in energy and mitigate fatigue. They're basically supposed to allow you to train harder and longer, resulting in a greater overall workload. There are numerous compounds that are often found in pre-workouts. However, the most common and effective compound by far is caffeine. While on the milder side, caffeine is similar to cocaine in that it too is a stimulant that acts on the central nervous system. Its stimulating effects act to enhance performance by increasing time to exhaustion, preserving muscle glycogen content, delaying perceptions of fatigue, and decreasing perceptions of pain and effort. In the past, it was believed that caffeine benefits were primarily isolated to endurance-related performance. In other words, maybe
If you go to
energy lifting weights. It didn't
Specsavers, you can get a pair for free.
power gains. Well, that's what
It's
it
like
was.
contact lenses. If you want to try contact lenses, go to Specsavers. Be like, oh, I hear you do a contact lens trial, and then you can sign up for a trial, and they give you like a month's worth for free. And you can get past that month by basically saying, I don't know, halfway through the month, they give you a trial set. You can be like, oh, halfway through the month, you can be like, oh, one of them teared by accident, and then they basically give you another set for free. So I did that. So I basically got to try the contact lenses out for like 2 months for free, which isn't too bad. But the 30-day contact lenses, so I made them last like 3 months before I went back to them. And I was like, yeah, I'll try contact lenses.
So while caffeine is a mild stimulant, it would make sense to conclude that a stronger stimulant would be new PRs.
Teddy's a legend.
However, making the conclusion that cocaine is just strong caffeine is terribly misleading. For example, while it would seem as though the stimulation from cocaine would be good in the gym, it could actually lead to premature fatigue. Rodent studies have found that after using cocaine, it causes an increased acceleration in the degradation of glycogen in higher dose rodents, as well as increased accumulation of lactate in moderate to high dose rodents. Both of these result in premature fatigue of rodents in studies. In fact, there have been quite a few similar studies which have come to the same conclusion. We should say that this does appear to happen at higher doses of 12 to 20 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, at least in rodents. It's difficult to say how this would be extrapolated to human consumption. Still, this is a larger concern for more endurance-related events compared to short-term bursts of high intensity, such as in weightlifting. One human study found that cocaine use can increase an individual's reaction time from a visual stimulus. Participants were administered cocaine, which resulted in significantly better reaction time over 24
Yeah.
hours.
They would administer cocaine and their fucking reaction times improved. Fuck's sake. Yeah, everything in moderation is alright. If you abuse stuff, that's where it fucking ends up giving shit.
This could possibly cause a detriment to your time in the gym, as a proper training program requires a certain level of attention, especially during the set. If you're doing chest flies, but things keep distracting you, you're not going to give 100% effort, and it could also mess up your mind-muscle connection or even lead to injury. Every exercise you do, even isolations, are going to activate other muscles. This can make feeling the intended
Yeah, I've slept with my glasses
activation in the
broken,
other muscle takes over.
bent them in all shape.
A long-time hack used by bodybuilders.
They used to stay on my face now, but that's because I grabbed the middle here, and I bent them in the middle. So now you can see they're actually curved like this now, like this. Where before they were like flat like this. Now I've managed to curve them like this. I put a little kink in the middle like that. So now they actually stay on my face now.
In our opinion, this would make it very difficult to stay focused in the gym. And we can't imagine working out in that.
Before they used to fall off my face straight away like this.
That appears to prove an increase in performance comes from mice in 2013.
And now they don't, which is good, they stay on my face. They may fall a little bit, but they still stay on my face, which is good.
Two groups of mice were made to perform on a rotor. This is basically a dowel that rotates on which a mouse must walk on until they fall off. In the first phase, half were given cocaine, and the other half were given saline for 6 days. In the second phase, half of the mice from each group switched, saline to cocaine or cocaine to saline. Researchers found that performance increased with the use of cocaine, but these improvements disappeared when cocaine was not administered. This led them to believe that there were performance improvements that were due to the psychomotor stimulation of cocaine and not the result of enhanced motor learning. but it's this rush that athletes are generally looking for. There is some evidence that shows it may provide some acute ergogenic benefit from its stimulation properties. In fact, other stimulants, such as amphetamine, have also shown to provide acute benefits. So
I can probably try and fix it. It's not too bad.
we should also keep in mind
I've worn
that
glasses.
cocaine is classified
Right.
as a S6 stimulant by WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency. Along with
27.
this is because WADA deems that cocaine has the
28, 29 years I've worn
enhance or
glasses for.
enhance performance.
No, longer
So
than
in
that.
addition to its effects or no effects on performance,
32, I've been wearing them since 4 years
harmful
old.
side effects of
Yeah,
cocaine.
32.
One minor, yet a downside all the same, is that cocaine can cause breathing issues in the nose. As you are inhaling an abrasive substance, it can cause either a runny nose or even pain. Either of these aren't going to be beneficial in the weight room and could possibly even
They
decrease
get
the
elbow
amount
too.
of work you can do. But what about the Incan workers? Well, it's important to remember that they were chewing the leaves, so they did not experience these problems. And no, we are not suggesting you chew on leaves instead. Other side effects that occur usually after extended use are loss of concentration, irritability, loss of memory, paranoia, loss of energy, anxiety, and a loss of interest in sex. Still, there are other real dangerous physiological effects when a person takes cocaine, like rhabdomyolysis. This is the same rhabdomyolysis that is often associated with CrossFit. Rhabdomyolysis is a condition where the muscle experiences heavy damage and begins to break down. This causes the muscle cells to burst, which releases myoglobin into the bloodstream. Excessive myoglobin can overwhelm the kidneys, resulting in buildup of waste products. It's a very serious condition that can be life-threatening or result in liver
Obviously
damage.
not.
While relatively uncommon, one cause is extensive and high-intensity exercise. It also happens to be the most common form of kidney failure associated with cocaine use. Now it seems this is the result of long-term or heavy use rather than acute.
I can do smoke. That's expressive.
There obviously aren't any studies that look to see if heavy form of cocaine would have a compounding
I've got a
effect
vape,
on
but I don't really use it.
lysis.
I normally only use it for DMT, but it's a sick vape.
And it shouldn't need to be said, but having your muscles
It's got a massive screen on it as well.
not good for muscle growth. Not good at all. Another
I get
serious
to
issue
start
that
up.
can occur with long-term use is heart issues. Numerous studies have concluded that the abuse of cocaine can lead to numerous heart issues such as blockade of sodium and
Might be dead,
potassium
you know.
channels, oxidative stress and mitochondrial damage, and disruption of cardiac excitation contraction coupling. While you may not completely understand what this is, just
Probably dead.
understand that collectively, this leads to an increase in blood oxygen demand,
Ah,
decrease in blood oxygen
It's
supply.
got spilt.
But that's not all. It's known that cocaine use is also responsible for the acceleration of apoptosis, which is the natural death of cells in the heart muscles of users. Over time, this leads to numerous heart conditions, including heart failure and ischemic myocardial infarction. Again, not good for muscle growth. Unfortunately, there have also been reported deaths occurring after a user takes cocaine and then partakes in intense exercise. Other unwanted effects mentioned by athletes after
everywhere.
use are perceptual misjudgments, time disorientation, and general ability to think quickly and make judgments.
Oh, I've got it to finally turn on as well.
The effects of cocaine are all over the place.
It's got
Just
full
like
battery.
the doctor snorting wine. The most basic summary seems to be that taking a little may provide some benefit due to the rush and excited stimulation. However, more use begins to cause a detriment to performance and mental state. There's also one other factor we need to consider if we were to seriously consider using cocaine as a pre-workout. There's a reason that cocaine is known as a rich man's drug. Unless you're making a ton of money, cocaine is going to make you broke in a few months. Pricing can obviously vary, but a gram of cocaine will probably cost around $50. Unless you're able to control your use, you're going to use the entire gram when you work out. This means you could easily
Can't get the
spend
thing off.
$500 to $1,000 a month just on your pre-workout. However, that price is if you are magically able to only use cocaine for your workout. This likely won't happen. Cocaine is the second most used illegal drug in the world, and cocaine
Managed to finally get it
is a
off.
major problem.
Just
What
ain't
this
clean
means
this
is
thing.
that if you are using
It's
cocaine
leaking
on a
everywhere at the
regular
same
basis,
time.
you're going to use more than just for working out. In addition to more negative side effects, which we will discuss below,
Jesus.
it's that much more money. You're not going to be able to afford your membership anymore or supplements that are awesome like creatine. In the beginning of the video, we told you that there's a very important relationship between cocaine and bodybuilding. And there is. However, it has nothing to do with building bigger muscles. In fact, it's not even
Yeah,
about
that's
the
clean,
effect
no.
that cocaine has on bodybuilding. Rather, it's about the effect that bodybuilding or any type of exercise has on cocaine use. If you start on a resistance training program, there's a good chance that you will start using less cocaine. That's right. Resistance training may be a powerful tool to actually decrease use of cocaine. A study in 2017 showed this using rats. The study design was quite simple. There were two groups of rats, a sedentary group and a resistance training group. Both groups were hooked up to machines that allowed the self-administration of cocaine. The researchers then sat back and watched. They found that the resistance training group used cocaine significantly less times and with lower doses. Now, of course, this is in rats and not humans, but resistance training has actually played a large part in some substance abuse and recovery programs for some time. It's believed that the large dopamine release from resistance training plays a big role in this. At the same time,
Yeah, I sorted it out now.
also activate your
Nice and clean
endocannabinoid
here.
system. This is the same
Took
system
fucking ages
activated
though.
by
Good luck.
smoking weed. Have you ever been on a
That's how it should look.
an intense training session and hit a point where you start to
Clean the
feel
top bit, look, this
more
bit.
motivation, a little euphoria, more energy?
Because this is all metal. I didn't want it to like get oil on it or rust or anything.
Being is that regular exercise can actually give you pleasure in the same way cocaine does. Plus, it's free.
But it's heavy as fuck. It's over 300 grams in your hand. 350 grams.
Especially compared to the price of cocaine. So, the main question is coke a good workout? After looking at the evidence, we would say no, it's definitely not. Now, maybe
I don't know.
if you used a small amount, you could get a somewhat beneficial high, but that's
I
really
didn't know.
hypothetical. And you can get the same effects by taking a single caffeine pill that costs pennies. Using caffeine would also completely get rid of any chance of getting any type of addiction. In other words, there is absolutely no reason you should be trying cocaine to help fuel your workout session. Not only are there other options that can provide similar benefits, you're not going to get the slew of side effects. Anxiety, lack of attention, running nose, rhabdomyolysis, heart disease, death. You know, side effects. Just stick to our favorite, a cup or two of coffee. What happens to your body when you exercise? For many, exercise is a part of life. As kids and adolescents, we often participated in organized
We were
sports
robbed of that game
social
then.
activities. Gym class was used to teach us the importance of physical fitness, social engagement, and discipline. This is clearly why our parents made us do it even when we wanted to quit. As the years pass, few continue. Others fall into
Oh, do you mean
sedentary
3-2 to
lifestyle,
England, as in
unhealthy habits.
3 to us,
For
2 to them?
exercise is nothing more than a sport, while others view it as a way of life. The Jane Fonda-fueled exercise
Or
boom
3
in the
to England.
70s sure brought
As if he got 3
muscles,
goals.
cardiovascular fitness, and spandex into the spotlight. Becoming a multi-billion-dollar industry targeting faster muscle growth, improved cardiovascular fitness, anti-aging, and improved mental health in an evidence-based and not so evidence-based way. But you're probably wondering, how exactly does it do this to our body? Could all these benefits promising improved health and longevity be true? Well, get ready, because these answers will blow you away. Let's get into it. So first, let's address the obvious. Let's talk about appearance. If you ask just about anyone who begins their fitness journey, they'll likely tell you it's to look good and feel good. As sure as the sky is blue, millions of people across the world will harmoniously declare their New Year's resolution to lose weight and get better with intoxicated conviction. Whether we succeed is neither here nor there, but the fact remains that deep down we all know exercise has the power to change our appearance and our overall health. So what sets the alarm bells off? We've all been there, waking up, strolling into the bathroom, only to be greeted by a confronting reflection of extra body fat that we've amassed around our belly. Or the abrupt constriction of our chest when the elevator stops working and we struggle to traverse just a couple flights of stairs. Like a slap in the face, those changes to our appearance become more than just our reflection, they become our limitations. And we both know what happens next. We exercise. Well, most of the time. But does it work? You bet it does. So since we're talking about appearance, let's start with the skin. Strange place to begin, but what better way to hook an audience than talking about more youthful looking skin? Exercise is obviously more than skin deep, but why overlook the benefits of appearance to the largest organ in our body? It's no secret our skin deteriorates as we age.
Right.
Skin elasticity and upper dermal structures decrease as a result of extracellular matrix degradation. And this, combined with hormonal changes from our neuroendocrine system and increased level of inflammatory
Oh, so we did win.
combined with extrinsic factors such as sun exposure, air pollution, our chances of looking 25 forever are all but out the door. Now, we know not all of you will care, but for those looking for the best anti-aging products on the market, you may well just be missing out on one that's right under your nose. We know how exercise has many restorative effects on the body, and the skin is no different. Exercise also altered the circulating level of cytokines and hormones, which may be involved in the anti-aging effects of exercise. Our skeletal muscles produce and release them into circulation. Aerobic exercise in particular is known to regulate skin aging through the release of interleukin-15, or IL-15, a protein that enhances skin growth. To discuss the benefits, let's take a look at a recent study conducted in 2023. It took 56 middle-aged Japanese women to determine the effect of aerobic training and resistance training under the supervision of certified trainers over a 16-week period. Before training, they measured skin properties, body composition, physical capacity, and took blood samples. They conducted 2 experiments. The first was to determine the effects of aerobic training and resistance training, and the second was to take plasma before and after the 16-week period to examine the change in the amount of circulating extracellular gene matrix. The results of the test indicated your standard improvements, including the decrease in body weight, body mass index, and improvement of VO2 peak. But where things get concerning are the effects of it on the skin. Skin elasticity and upper dermal structures improved significantly for both groups, while dermal thickness
Increased for the resistance trained group. Now let's look